Tehran says it fired missiles at a U.S. warship to stop an invasion. Washington says something very different happened in the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. Iranian state media reported that 2 missiles struck an American destroyer as it tried to force its way into the strait, one of the world's most critical oil chokepoints. The attack, they said, forced the ship to turn back. But the U.S. military flatly denies any warship was hit at all. This is more than a he said she said over a single naval encounter. It's a fight over who controls the story of what's happening in one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth. The clash happened on the first day of what the Trump administration is calling Project Freedom, a new operation to escort commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran closed the strait in late February after the U.S. and Israel launched large-scale strikes aimed at regime change and dismantling Iran's nuclear program. A fragile ceasefire took effect in early April, but it left roughly 2,000 merchant ships stranded in the Persian Gulf. Normally, more than 100 ships pass through the strait every single day, carrying about a fifth of the world's oil. That traffic collapsed when Iran shut it down, and Trump announced over the weekend that American destroyers and attack helicopters would now guide those trapped vessels out. Iran sees that as a ceasefire violation. The U.S. sees it as opening an international shipping lane. And both countries opened fire within hours of the operation's launch. What actually happened is this: U.S. forces sank 6 Iranian fast attack boats and shot down cruise missiles and drones that Tehran fired at the convoy. Admiral Brad Cooper, the head of Central Command, confirmed those engagements. But he made it clear that no American warship took a hit. Iran, meanwhile, is broadcasting video of what it claims is a successful missile strike, calling it a defensive action to protect sovereign waters. The competing claims matter because they shape what happens next. If Iran can convince its public, and its regional allies, that it forced a U.S. destroyer to retreat under fire, it strengthens Tehran's hand in any negotiation. If the U.S. can prove Iran is fabricating a warship hit, it undermines Iranian credibility and justifies further military pressure. Both sides are playing to domestic audiences and to the region, where perception of strength often determines who has leverage at the negotiating table. What's not in dispute is that the ceasefire is unraveling in real time. U.S. helicopters destroyed half a dozen Iranian boats. Iranian missiles and drones were intercepted over the strait. And despite Project Freedom's launch, most shipping traffic remains frozen. Only a handful of vessels made it through on the operation's first day, according to Central Command. The strait is still effectively closed, oil prices are still elevated, and neither Washington nor Tehran is backing down. The question now is whether this escalates into full-scale war again or becomes the new normal, a tense, contested waterway where every convoy is a potential flashpoint, and both sides claim victory no matter what actually happened. Because in this conflict, the story of who won the fight might matter just as much as the fight itself. Iraq's holy city of Najaf, once a major destination for millions of pilgrims annually, is experiencing a sharp decline in religious tourism as conflict involving Iran deters visitors. Religious tourism forms a significant part of Iraq's economy and the spiritual life of its Shia communities. The downturn affects both the sacred sites and the local businesses that depend on pilgrim traffic. The collapse of religious tourism threatens Iraq's already fragile economy and disrupts the livelihoods of communities built around serving pilgrims. This reflects how regional conflict radiates beyond direct combatants, severing cultural and economic ties that sustain millions across the Middle East.